2089, the United Nations Space Administration sent an exploratory mission to Proxima Centauri b, a habitable planet in the near solar system to Earth. It was a mission to find a new home. But as the spaceship neared the planet's surface, communication with the crew was lost. All 7 astronauts.
Crusoe was a wonderful, comedic, playful short, and it was fun for an action movie for it to have those elements to really contrast, and it made it a really fun, wild ride. And I think just as it would get really intense, it could be broken up with a joke, and the main character had sort of a macho persona that we all know and love. The actor had a beautiful baritone voice, and it comes with a twist at the end that gives you a moment of tenderness, I'd say, and that was a nice feeling to leave with a bittersweet after watching something intense and entertaining. So I think it had all elements to make me feel all different moods while I was watching it, and highly recommend. There was a lot of feelings in such a short amount of time. There wasn't a moment wasted.
I loved the visual quality of Crusoe. The animation style was really cool. It was really vivid. The world seemed real, and I was curious to know more about the backstory. I loved the sort of monstrous sea creatures and his sidekick. The Rubik's Cube was a really nice touch, and I thought the story, the music, all the elements together made it for a really cool thing. I would totally watch a full-length movie or a series with the characters and the style.
I really, really loved this. I thought it was really interesting. I loved the dynamic between him and his little friend. I loved the animation. I thought that was really, really well done. Everything that he was kind of working with and struggling for and dealing with all felt really in the moment and really in that place where he's living, which is just pure survival mode. And not just in this moment, how can I get out of this moment, but also long term, how can I, have these little fish that will make more fish and help sustain him so he, has food to eat, and how, does he honor the people that lost their lives that used to be his companions, and that doesn't necessarily, work for his survival in the long run, but also having that shows that not only has he been there for a while, but he's kind of settled it in, and he's still trying to survive, he's still trying to make it, and he's still trying to live and find a way to keep going, and I thought it was really well done.
I thought the animation style on this was incredible. I loved that really high level of realism with the textures of the water and the environment, the skin, all of it felt very palpable. And I felt that also helped build the realism and investing in an animated short. And it was great to really build the world around our character as well. So it made that high stakes adventure feel very well rounded. And there was a nice level of heart to the piece as well. It was difficult ending, but it somewhat made his relationship with this creature more needed, more necessary, due to the isolation that he's in and people being lost. So I thought it was, a really well-rounded piece.
I really liked Crusoe, and just the whole one man lost on a new planet trying to survive on his own, this little creature friend, the rest of his crew's dead, no communication. That whole type of concept is just really interesting to me, because I'm a big fan of sci-fi stories, but those type of ones, those smaller but on another planet, not world-ending stakes, but just one man trying to survive. And it's this aspects of Star Trek in there, Lost in Space, and it's a very interesting concept, and I really like the voice acting as well, and the tense action. Yeah, it was overall very strong and very good.
I thought this one was really fun. It had a really nice animation and visual style, very clear, very distinct, nice and vibrant, great to look at and great to watch. The story, while pretty simple and straightforward, was exciting. The characters similarly worked very well, even though they were a little on the simple side. Um, the character and creature design of some of these aliens was fantastic. I think it was pretty unique, stood out, very distinct, very enjoyable. The conflict is pretty straightforward. Nothing that's hard to follow along with or grasp onto, but it still felt like a complete story. It balances some different tones with a more somber intro and then a much more upbeat midsection of the film. And then the final moments are kind of on that same opening tone, that more somber feeling. But I think it works very well. The ending is satisfying. It brings everything together. And overall, I thought that this one was working very well.
I honestly thought that Crusoe was such an amazing example of how you can create such a dynamic world in a sci-fi short. The main character was so charming and so unique and immediately got me hooked onto what was going on. It was a simple fishing trip, and then he gets ambushed by all of these, other fish and this larger fish. And that action sequence was really tense, and it really had me on the edge of my seat right until the very end. And it kind of showcased the potential for an entire world or even a feature from this. Those wide shots from space right off the bat kind of set the tone that we're going to be in a dystopian future world. And even though it is kind of dystopian, it is kind of charming and breathtaking in a way. It both has that dystopia feel and that sort of excitement and unknown aspect of the future that's so gravitating for most fans of the sci-fi genre. So all in all, I would say there was a lot of amazing storytelling going on, and I just can't wait to see what comes next.
All right, I just finished watching Crusoe, which was a very exciting and interesting animated film about astronauts who had crash landed on a planet and most had not survived, and the one lone survivor. It's inspired by, I would imagine, Robinson Crusoe and the story of being stranded on an island. The entire piece is pretty well made. The quality of animation is very high, and the transition that you see over the course of the film reminds you a lot of like a summer blockbuster just sort of smashed down into a tight film. You get comedy, you get humor, you get a cute alien character, you get repeated motives and themes like with the Rubik's Cube, you get constant action and thrills. So it really felt like an adventurous piece in a very short amount of time. And the animation made it feel like it was very epic in scale. And the ending ended up being quite emotional, and it reflected a good level of range within the piece. So in general, I enjoyed it.